In an ideal turbo setup, you wouldn't have a downpipe or any type of exhaust system. Those only exist for comfort and convenience. Because the most important part of a turbo setup is the pressure difference between the higher pressure exhaust manifold before the turbine and the lower pressure downpipe after the turbine. The entire turbo exhaust scheme itself is chaotic. It's deep into thermodynamics with pressure gradients, velocity, and enthalpy drop across the turbine. You'd fall asleep if I explained it, and it isn't necessarily necessary in this video. The most crucial part out of everything to remember at the street level is that higher pressure always flows to lower pressure areas. As a very basic rundown, the turbine doesn't spin like air through a windmill. The high velocity exhaust gas flows along the turbine blades, and as the angled blades redirect the flow, momentum is transferred to the turbine shaft and it starts spinning. For more boost, you need a stronger flow. Any restriction in what's supposed to be the low pressure exhaust or downpipe side raises pressure and starts to weaken that pressure difference. So the exhaust doesn't flow from the high side exhaust manifold to the low side downpipe as strongly, causing you to need more pressure, more accurately referred to as drive pressure in the exhaust manifold for that same boost target. And worse off, the more drive pressure you need and the more pressure the exhaust manifold has, the more work the piston needs to do to push the exhaust gas out of the chamber. That extra work is called pumping loss, and it's caused by back pressure on both naturally aspirated and turbo setups, but in turbo setups it differs because the increase in back pressure causes an increase in drive pressure to hit that same boost target, which kills horsepower. Because the goal on turbo engines is just to make the exhaust gas work and get out as fast as possible. And by doing that, you indirectly start making your exhaust sound good because turbochargers themselves severely smooth out the sharp edges of the exhaust pulses so much that when you start to remove restrictive mufflers, resonators, and converters on a turbo 4-cylinder chasing power, you don't get a lot of the rasp, flatness, and insanely loud acoustics you get from a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder if you do it right. You get a great sounding car when it's running. But more than anything, the secret to a good sounding turbo exhaust is to make the exhaust as straight as possible. Use stainless steel and size it right for your power level, but no matter what, you'll always be limited to your exhaust pulse density, whether it's a 90-degree Italian V6 or a 60-degree American V6. They sound very similar once you put a turbo on it.